1.6% possession, 21 shots, 5 of them on target, 1.81 expected goals, and Manchester United scored nothing. Hull City 2, Manchester United 0. And forget trying to dress this up as one bad result, because what happened at the MKM Stadium shouldn't concern every Manchester United supporter watching tonight, should it? I think it should. Newly promoted Hull hadn't beaten Manchester United in the league since 1974. They had never beaten United in the Premier League. Yesterday, they did both. Yeah? And they didn't need a world-class tactical masterclass to do it. They punished Manchester United from the absolute basics. Get the ball wide, put it in the box, get your head on it. 17th minute corner, goal. United don't deal with it. Ajayi 1-0. 38 minutes, free kick. United don't deal with it. Again, Mendy 2-0. 2 set pieces, 2 centre backs scoring. We had 2 defenders hugging each other. Game effectively over before half time. And that's where tonight's conversation begins, really. Because Michael Carrick can talk about remaining calm. And he's right. It's one game. We do remain calm. 0-0, go again. Does not define a season, right? This one result doesn't define our season. But we had alarm bells against AC Milan. Playing 3 at the back, wing backs. We couldn't defend against it. As Callie's come straight in the chat and said, Grimsby all over again. A team that wants it more than you. A team that will do whatever it takes. And you won't. And players doing what they want on the pitch because they think they're Billy Big Bollocks and they're bigger and better than everyone else. And yesterday exposed plenty, if you've watched it back like more than once. I have. I don't know if you have. Let me know. United had the football. Hull had the control. You can see the stats behind me. You can see how much possession we had. United had 21 attempts. Hull had the goals though, yeah? United even produced 34 open play crosses into the box. Not that we had anyone in the box who could do anything with it, because our players don't make those runs into the box only in pre-season. Apparently when it comes to the league, we don't do it. Then that was the most in any Premier League match for nearly 8 years, I think. It was something that when I looked at the stats. But possession without penetration is just possession, right? It's just fucking passing the ball back and forth without going forward. We've seen this before. We've called it out before. But we haven't seen it under Michael Carrick. We've seen it under every other manager. Keep the ball. I don't want to run. And, 72% of the ball means absolutely nothing when you're walking off the pitch, being beaten 2-0 and by a newly promoted side. And we said, both Michael Carrick and myself, not together, but we both said, don't underestimate the newly promoted teams who, from the first second, have to fight to stay up. And they will do whatever it takes, okay? So if you're a Manchester United fan and you want proper discussion rather than excuses like you see on other channels, like blame the transfer window, blame this, blame that, hit the subscribe button, get involved in the comments. Ramos is in there already. Callie's already letting out her frustrations. Hull's entire transfer budget this season is as much as Maguire's and Shaw's weekly wage. I don't think that's true. Hull signed their keeper for 21 million, I think it was. But I get your point. But no, guys, get in that chat. Subscribe. We hit 300 on the last show. We're now on the road to 350. We've got an extra week to try and get there by the end of next month. Okay? We're pushing for 500 by November. the ultimate goal with the changes that are coming to YouTube as of tomorrow and as of the 1st of February. If we can get this channel to 1,000, it goes through the roof. If we don't, it may take me another year to get it up there with the changes YouTube have got. So that's on everyone who watches this. Help a guy out. Just hit the subscribe button. All those subscribers will count towards us doing bigger and better things. But let's stay on topic. It's not a great topic tonight. We know that. And there are some serious questions coming. Was Carrick tactically outthought? Don't think so. Why did United struggle so badly against Hull's shape when they know this shape inside out? Why were the set pieces so poor? And of course, what happened to the intensity? It seems every show I have to talk about intensity. It's something that runs through my blood. You know, if you're out there, do until you die. Yeah. But why could a team with Bruno Fernandes, Brian Mbeumo, Talisman, Santos have so much of the ball, yet create so little that generally frightened Hull to sit back and defend? And there's the Marcus Rashford question as well. On at half time, was that a success? Was it not? 618 days after his previous competitive Manchester United appearance, he came on at half-time. There was more intent, I will be honest. There was more running, but there was still no comeback. No goal, no response on the scoreboard. But that's okay, because the whole team couldn't do that. And Captain Bruno Fernandes himself spoke afterwards about United repeating mistakes and needing more aggression. He's the one constantly in that game making the same mistakes by kicking the ball forward to no one. Blind passes, Hollywood passes, everything we have not had in pre-season is starting to come out again, just throwing the ball in the box. Because this wasn't supposed to feel familiar, right? This was supposed to be the beginning of something different. Carrick had restored belief come the end of last season. United had climbed back towards the top of the Premier League, and we believe that's where we'll be staying because we belong to be there, right? There was optimism again. Then came the opening day, and suddenly some very old Man United problems walked straight back through the door. And for once, I am not talking about the bomb squad. I'm not talking about Marcus Rashford. So tonight, we're going through everything. The tactics, the goals, the set-piece defending, the midfield, Carrick's decisions, the individual performances, the stats, and most importantly, whether this was simple and just one of those opening day disasters that Manchester United can immediately correct. We've got Ipswich next week, so we'll be looking forward to that later on in the week. But right now, the first warning that this team is nowhere near as ready as people like to make us think. Hull City 2, Manchester United 0. The Tigers roared, United stumbled, and this is the United Lens full-time review. So let's get into it. And straight away, we'll go straight into the chat with you guys popping out your messages. Ramos says, we lost that match before the opening whistle. Carrick's first 11 was idiotic. Why play Cunha as a 9, having Sesko and Mbeumo and Rashford available? You play Dorgu as a left wing, having Cunha and Rashford. United just pays 70 million for a player Brighton saw as not the right profile, yet we refuse to buy a left back and a backup number 9. The false 9 crap needs to stop. We need legitimate strikers and fullbacks that feed them. Ramos is not a happy man, and I can't blame him. Callie says, are you Carrick out yet? I'm not sure. No, I'm nowhere near Carrick out because I don't believe all of this is on the players. Like that's what it is for me. I look at people being set up, and I don't believe that Michael Carrick told Cunha, who was playing number 9, to come all the way back into midfield and push Bruno Fernandes start running up there randomly and a whole shape going fucking tits up. When I've watched Brian Mbeumo play up front pre-season, I've watched Xerxes play up front, you know, and that's not what they were doing. And why would he give Cunha different instructions? It's the fact Cunha goes where Cunha wants to go, and that's a problem. And he's not the only problem in that game. Now, Ramos says, and going back to pre-season, this is where I didn't like how Carrick wasted it with squads of players that weren't going to play in Premier League. Players lost the opportunity to gel together. Yes and no. We'll come back to that, Ramos. You are very close to being spot on with the truth there, I think. I would say the squads were right, but the minutes handed out, totally wrong. And it's showing right now. Ramos says, I'm not Carrick out, but I'm fuming because the pre-season was wasted and the first 11 made no sense whatsoever. And I agree. I absolutely agree. The first 11 did not make any sense. You saw what I put out, and then I saw what he did. I'm thinking, drop Bruno back a bit. It will make sense. Yeah, play Talisman further forward with the legs and that. Cover midfield. Because I knew they had played 5 in midfield, so you couldn't leave 3. You know? If they were brave enough, they were always going to stay high, which they did, which meant that our front 3 had to press 3 centre-backs, which narrowed us in the pitch. They could just easily pass it out wide. And I can already tell you, I'm pretty sure Jarvis has got a clip lined up for tomorrow night for us to watch on Tactical Devils, where he's going to literally show exactly what happens. Dorgu caught between 2 players. I saw that Ahmad caught between 2 players against the AC Milan team the week before, where he doesn't know whether to go forward or drop back. And that was all due to how we pressed. Uh-oh, here we go. Yeah, Daniel in the house, Leeds fan. They did get their win. I told you you'd be off to a good start. I told you Leeds are onto something this season. But, you know, there have been some dodgy results throughout. But no, fair play. I haven't had a chance to see the goals yet. Or the goal. I know you won 1-0. But, you know, it is what it is. Obviously, come the next game, I'll put the league table up again. Not that we really need it for one game, right? Where should we start? Ramos says, Mark, he used Mbeumo as a false 9 all pre-season, yet played Cunha up front on the first 11. I mean, it's just impossible to justify those calls. No, I know. And I wouldn't even say Mbeumo played false 9. He stayed quite high a lot and ran off the centre-backs. But there was 3 of them. So what you needed was 100% a striker to stay as high as possible to keep 2 centre-backs back. And instantly be there to reduce the opportunity to play the ball short between the keeper and the centre-backs. But Cunha, literally, I was saying he was going to get pulled at half-time for Rashford. Because what I would have done is kept Dorgu on the left. Dorgu, he had a stinker. But there's reasons, and I'm going to come on to these reasons. I believe he had a stinker because we've seen him superb all through the Carrick last season and pre-season. Why have a bad game now? Sometimes you can have a bad game because someone else makes you have a bad game. So, Daniel says, I feel sorry for you, mate. Big transfer window and that performance. Yeah, exactly. King's in the house. King Carrick. We wish you were Michael Carrick and we can have a proper conversation today. Hi, Mark. That was a total shit show. Can't believe players let us down again. The Deadwood virus is back. And Ramos saying, exactly, that's not Cunha's game. Cunha's strengths are playing through the middle, not up top. Exactly. So it's so hard to say where we're going to start, right? So I think, let me just have a look. What did I made some notes, not something I normally do. But I thought, do you know what? It's going to start helping everyone if I start doing that. So looking at how we let's look at the goals. Let's look at the biggest shit show, the goals. The corners happen. We can see corners. But what it was comical, wasn't it? You've all seen it. Again, it'll be Harry Maguire making a meme. Someone want to tell me why he's hugging Mazraoui when the ball comes in the box after the flick on? It's so, and then that's what delays him reacting because someone's got hold of him. Like, what the hell is Maguire like had laser surgery on his eyes or something over the summer break? Why he's not been doing anything, or has he been on an absolute bender because he didn't go away with the England team? I don't know, but God, it was bad. Like you just don't do that. It's bad enough to tell people not to hold a player when they're defending a corner, but to go and do what he's done, I can literally pick it. Okay, Dorgu front post. I heard Peter Schmeichel call this out. He's looking the wrong way. He's not even looking at the ball. Now, I've seen defenders defend like this because they're told to look at the player and look at the player's movements. I don't get it personally. You can get your arm up. You can feel the player. You can feel where he is. As long as he's within arm's length, you can feel where he is and not grab hold of him, but touch tight and look at the ball. You can do two things at once. Many women might tell us men that we can't, but in this respect, absolutely, you can do two things at once. You can have a hand on the player and you can literally pull him around, right? But then, that happened. Flicked on, far post. Lammens with a great save, pushes it back onto the post, which is like an absolute fluke. But no one reacts. No one's marking. And again, like I say, that's where the touch tight comes in. But when Harry Maguire is holding on to Mazraoui, how the hell is he meant to react? And it was, funny enough, Mazraoui's player that pulled away. And why is Mazraoui marking him and not Harry Maguire? I told you weeks ago there have been some defensive changes at Manchester United on how we defend. Right now, the only defensive change for coaching that I can see is they've got a load of shit, put it on stage, and we call it a shit show, right? Because I don't know what's going on back there. We defended tight, compact, and sprinted out to the wide player all of last season. Under Carrick, that is, obviously. Now, we're staying compact, zonal, and doing nothing. Just block the ball. It's almost like I don't want you to go out there and push the ball out for a throw-in so they can launch it into the box, which is a stupid decision because you only have 5 seconds to take the throw-in now, so you can get the ball back. So really, you should be playing for a lot of throw-ins and playing fast. Same with goal kicks, and corners. You've got to play fast. And I think that suits Man United. So that's the first goal. He volleys it in, gets his goal, and 1-0. Ajayi, absolute first goal for Hull back in the Premier League. I've got to be happy for him in that respect. I'm always happy for the player who gets the first goal for a promoted club that's been out of the league for years. Ramos says Maguire screwed up a ball in the air that led to one of the Milan goals as well. You might be on to something here, Mark. Maguire pushed out far left, following a striker for PSG and AC Milan. Exactly the same position, exactly the same run the player made, and Maguire followed him. And I can't believe it wasn't pulled up in the video review of the game, because surely that's what they're doing, right? if I could, I would review all of our ranking games we had today with my disability teams, right? But we don't film them for obvious reasons. Camera's not permitted. But Manchester United, you got to learn from your mistakes. So you're going to be watching all of those videos. But there's a lot of buts. I feel like I'm David Beckham in his early things. But it's because there's so much going through my head to try and work out what we were doing, why we were doing it, and who the hell thought it was a good idea. Like, has Woodgate finally gone, well, I'm Leeds, aren't I? And I'm going to take United down from the inside out. Is he taking the defenders, or or is this Holland? I generally don't understand. For the corner, it happens, right? Flick on, everyone's gone for it, and you get a tap into the back post. We've scored many a goal like that. Casemiro last season used to get them, right? So that happens. I didn't understand it. I did not like it, but it happens. And I was like, oh, okay, it's early enough in the game. We can get back into this game. We're on the ball. We're controlling the ball, and we're throwing it in the box. So eventually, Carrick's going to come from the sidelines, go, get in the fucking box. Stop coming back. Stay up high. Nope. Didn't happen. Didn't happen at all. Still looking around like that going, anyone? Anyone going to say anything? Did not happen. So that's the first goal. Then we got, okay, it was clumsy foul. We can't talk. We really can't talk. Clumsy fouls and Man United go hand in hand around the edge of our box. 9 times out of 10 because someone's not doing their job. But he must have been, I don't know, from keeper to the thing, 40 yards out, on the diagonal, 35, 40 yards, I'd say. The wall is around the edge of the box, and we are back behind the penalty spot marking. Why are we so deep? Why would you be so deep? You've got every opportunity to at least be up with the last man on the wall, the deepest man on the angle. Make them put the ball in there, because what that does gives space to the goalkeeper to come and claim it, and we know that Lamans will come and claim the ball out the air if it's up there. And okay, it was a great ball in, I will be honest. If no one had touched it, I think it's going far corner, and keeper would have had to have made the save, and that's why he's slow to react, because he's like, I can't react until it's missed everyone. So I'm not going to criticise the goalkeeper. Although if you look at it and you will watch it in slow motion, it's like, why is the keeper not come for it? Or why is the keeper, it's gone in what feels like 2 yards from him? Because it was such a good ball. But it wouldn't be 2 yards out if we were, I don't know, 4 yards higher up. They just generally would not have got to that ball with that pace on it. So again, someone's told them to go that deep. And whether that be on the pitch, Harry Maguire calling the line, arms out, with me, I don't believe it. Or was it tactical? What I wouldn't understand it if it was tactical, because you're obstructing the goalkeeper's view. The higher you are, the more chance he can find the position to set himself, see over the top of you, or see through a gap to where the ball is. We didn't set a second wall, knowing that he could throw it in. We had just put a 2-man wall up. So we had plenty of bodies in the box. More bodies we have in the box, the harder it is for the keeper to see. But just all in all, defensively, it was wrong. It's not that it didn't make sense. It was clearly wrong. But what do you guys think? And chat's sort of gone a bit quiet at the moment, and I get why. I'm probably having a bit of a rant, and I don't mean to, but how did you see the free kick? I was just like, we're too deep. We're seriously too deep. If it had hit one of our players running back, trying to clear it, it would have gone in. It was a brilliant ball in. It was cross-come shot from, like I say, 30 yards, 35 yards out probably. 40 seems too far now, I'm thinking of it. How did what did you guys make of it? So that's the second goal. 2-0 down. Way too early on in the game to be 2-0 down. What was it, 38 minutes, something like that? 38, 34? Dorgood had just been booked because he was having an absolute stinker covering two people. The shape of the team was... Well, I didn't recognise it. I'm not going to lie. I did not recognise it. I put up a 4-2-3-1, right? All pre-season, we played a 4-2-3-1. Yesterday, we played a 4-2-4. It's that simple. It was a 4-2-4. There was no striker. Cunha was back standing, holding hands with Bruno Fernandes 9 times out of 10. Which then left, when you're playing against 5 in a front 4, Dorgu and Bumo would be like, do I go to the centre back or am I following the wing back? Now I don't know. And you'll see the triangles, they just pass around those two wide players constantly. Dorgu worked his arse off. I could physically see him running. And then he's getting in at the back post. And, yep, he missed some sitters. Absolutely, he missed some sitters. But why's Dorgu in there? Why was the cross from the right wing to the left winger with no one in between? Where was the striker? Where was the runs from Bruno or Cunha coming in late? To even drag defenders away. One go wide of the front post. Right, one run to the penalty spot. Then Dorgu can come in back post and it could hit him and go in. I just don't know what was happening. Right, Football Club Concept says, it's the first game of the season. A lot of errors were made. The fact that nobody scored against a newly promoted club is worrying. However, there's a lot of time to rectify the past mistakes. The fact that nobody scored against a newly promoted club. Well, didn't Ipswich win 2-1 and didn't Coventry lose 3-0? So I'm guessing you mean Manchester United didn't score against a newly promoted club. And it is worrying because you can see the shots behind me and the XG. So, as you can see, 72% possession. Wrong way. Every time. 72% possession. 21 shots with only 5 on target. That's worrying. That's facts, okay? You can say what you want, but you see what you see, okay? You don't get to pick and choose on that. 21 shots, most of them from inside the box, but against a packed box. We didn't try and work it wide, little 1-2s, pull the ball back. Their keeper made some great saves late on in the game, but they weren't really... There were half chances with not really enough power from my sort of perspective. But it is true. It is first game of the season. There will be a lot of errors because we're playing players who aren't fit. Tillersman, Bruno, Cunha, Mazraoui maybe. He had quite a few minutes actually in pre-season. But Bruno played, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. A whole of the AC Milan game where he looked tired and absolute shit. And then obviously yesterday's game where he was crap. You can see from my ratings, right? I was not happy with anyone really. I think Lammens made the saves he made. And Bumo was trying, and so was Mazraoui. Our right was our only way out. And that's because their left wing back was the weaker one of the two. Ramos says, you're absolutely right. He played 4-2-4 yesterday. Was a 4-4-2 day where the back three would have to keep track of 2 forwards. Well, that's it. So whether he told Bruno to jump to try and get in between the three centre-backs in the 2 gaps, I don't know. But they didn't even do that because Cunha, if Bruno went, Cunha was behind him still. So come half time, it still didn't change. The same thing still happened. So I'm going to have to say it was Carrick. Because what you tend to say is, if it's happening in the first half and shouldn't be happening, the manager's going to make a change. Now, Dorgu, yes, had a stinker. He was getting on the end of balls, but he was missing. And we know he can score a worldie, and it's sometimes you get these players, they score absolute worldies and they miss from the goal line. But Marcus Rashford never got that service that Dorgu was getting and chances, the balls across the box and that. And Rashford, yeah, I think the chances Dorgu got, Rashford scores. The question would be, would Rashford or Cunha, if they were playing on the left, be in the same position as Dorgu? Probably not, because he's a totally different kind of hard-working winger. So one thing to look at there, and we will be looking at that in a bit. Ramos says, but I agree with Football Club concepts. Glass half full. It was game one, and we can easily correct those mistakes. We can. Like, come on, there were worse things out there. We could have been Tottenham. We could have been Tottenham and spent an absolute, well, their whole bank account they're trying to spend by the looks of things, and go and get smashed up by Brentford. But I tell you now, Stu Woolley on Tactical Devils the other week warned me and warned a few others for the results for Brentford were getting in pre-season. Keep an eye on them. They're playing some really, really good football. King says Dorgu was originally left back, wasn't he? No, we bought him he was playing right wing. He was a right forward, front forward of a front three on the right. And don't you remember when the only game under Amorim he had an absolute good game was when he changed to putting Dorgu on the right and played the back four. It was Dorgu's best game. And if you see where he cuts in from the right, the volley and the volley against Tottenham, which he slices in the top corner, and the one which is dropping out the air, very much like a Zidane volley in the Champions League. If you saw it, you remember it. If you didn't see it, go look it up because it's the greatest Champions League goal, I think, of all time. Especially in the final anyway. Yeah, Football Club Concept says Ahmad out for 6 weeks. That is worrying. Ahmad out for 6 weeks from training. Now, 6 weeks is, well, we say 7 weeks because he missed this week's game and they haven't exactly tagged that on, have they? So we don't know how much he trained. Now, that could be a bruised foot. It could be stood on in training when you're doing your sort of rondos or something like that. But I would say it's a muscular strain. Unfortunately, what we've seen way too often, we get told 6 weeks, Mason Mount, and it turns out to be 3 months. But the positive to Ahmad being out, and it probably feels like there isn't a positive, promises. There isn't a positive, but maybe Michael Carrick has made promises to Shea Lacey. Because right now, I'm playing, the next game, there's only one man playing through the middle, and that's Mbumo. Sesko, no, fucking didn't even notice him on the pitch when he came on, right? You play Mbumo through the middle, and you bring Lacey on that right and say, go on then, Ahmad's out, you get a run of games, show me what you can do. That's what a real manager does, that actually is looking at the stars we have on the bench and in our academy. You go, there's your opportunity, go and fucking take it. But, you know, we can only wait and see. King says, the clips I've seen of him before we got him, he played as a left back and bombed on and even scored. You may have... I'm not sure, Kings, but on the clips, did it show the score? Because I've fallen for this before. But one of the ways around YouTube with video content is to flip it. You do a 180, so your left is playing on your right is playing on the left. Bit like me with my tactical board sometimes when I don't spot it. Sometimes a lot of YouTube channels do that. They narrow it down, they flip the content, and it basically helps the AI for using other people's content take a little bit longer before your video gets pulled down. So, or asks you to remove that aspect of the video. But I'm pretty sure he was playing right wing as a right wing forward. But he plays left wing for Denmark. He was playing a great on the left wing for us last season under Carrick. But do you know what? We're on Dorgu. Let's talk about Dorgu. Let's talk about Dorgu. Um, so what I saw, this is my opinion. You guys in the chat, you guys watching, if you disagree, come in the chat and say. If you're watching back later, come in the comments. But what I saw was this. We had no players up front at all. They dropped, which then meant Bruno Fernandes ran forward. And because he was running forward, he was shouting at Cunha to get up because it was Cunha's job. So he did. But then they were pressing 3 centre-backs and they just went, we'll just pass it around you. One of us is always going to be free. You can't get the ball, right? And we got a goalkeeper there, which meant that Cunha and Mbeumo were meant to take the wing backs, but the wing backs went so high, the centre backs split, and they were like, well, that's our job. And they were getting caught in no man land. So the centre back, when the centre backs split wide of the 18-yard box, you had one central, 2 wide. Dorgu would go centre back left, and Mbeumo right, ideally. And our left back and our right back pick up the wing backs, and a CDM drops back in. And you outnumber them in midfield because then they can't play through the middle. But you do that with one striker. Or as I think it was King that says, or Ramos, you do it with 2 strikers and you just shut them down and you high press. You just go on then, play long behind us and make sure they get the ball. And you put the fullbacks all the way up the pitch so there's no space and you play on the halfway line. We're never going to play on the halfway line with Harry Maguire on the pitch. I know that. You know that. I think the whole fucking world knows that. It's not going to happen. But when... How can I put it? When you expect what you have been coached to happen, doesn't happen. A lot of the time, a young player, and Dorgu is a young player, Ahmad is young, we've seen this with him, goes, okay, I've got to do it. And they go for the one in front of them. They don't check their shoulder and think, I'll defend first. They think, I'll get high because that's where the pass is going to go. And you'll see this clip tomorrow night. I know you will. I haven't even been told it's there, but I know it's going to be. But as soon as Dorgu presses, the ball gets by the goalkeeper, gets clipped in behind him to the wing back. Luke Shaw's nowhere near the wing back because he thought that was Dorgu's man because Dorgu had stayed deep on the halfway line, probably where you were told to press from because that's what you do against a back 5. You press from the halfway line. You don't press in their own half because there's too much space for them to play out wide. And then he's finding himself doing doggies between 2 players, wearing himself out. That's one example just on Dorgu. And Mbeumo did the same on the other side. But then I told you about balls coming in the box and Mbeumo's getting it in the box, Bruno Fernandes throwing it in the box, and it's finding Dorgu inside of the back post, right? But he's where the striker should be. The striker should be when Dorgu was making his touches, and if you remember, one of them, he was almost at point blank. He could barely get anything on it. And the keeper just scoops it up. If your penalty spot to 6-yard line, all day long, piece of piss. There's no excuse. It's 5-yard run to get a touch on, but the keeper can't stop. Where was someone in that position? That was Cunha's position. But no, turns out he was outside the box, asking for him to pass the ball square to him so he could have a shot from outside the box. And we don't want that. And again, I go back to pre-season. And like I said, don't think I'm ranting. What I'm going is, I saw this in pre-season. And Mbeumo was in the box at all time, let the ball run across him, got his shot off, hit the target with nearly every shot. Even hit the target yesterday with an overhead kick. So he's definitely getting his shots off and hitting the target, which is all you can ask of a player. If you don't hit the target, you can't score, right? I don't want to see Dorgu in amongst the goalkeeper with no one around him. That makes no sense. He's not a big physical threat. He's not going to bully the goalkeeper. He's not going to bully a centre-back. You want him coming in from a ball driven across the box, byline 6-yard box, parallel, pulled back across the goalkeeper, tapped into the back post. I saw Harry Amas do it in pre-season, exactly the same position, but he came from left back, overlapping and got there. But Luke Shaw didn't do anything to help Dorgu out, and we all know. I think we need to check ourselves and make sure we don't have this hate campaign against Luke Shaw, because that ain't going to help the player get any better. Maybe he needs to build his fitness up, and it's going to, as you get older, as I found out today, it gets a hell of a lot harder to play yourself into a game and play yourself back to fitness. And I feel Luke Shaw's in that boat. Harry Maguire's in that boat. And maybe Bruno Fernandes is starting to find that. Every time you have a little rest and you don't play week in, week out, it gets harder and your fitness drops quicker. So Dorgu had a bad game, but I feel Cunha made him have a bad game by not being a focal point for him to work off. There was no 1-2s. You couldn't play it into a striker and get fed behind. You play it in Cunha, he controls the ball and turns. So there's no link-up play, which means you make a run, you're now out of position. Cunha loses the ball, you've got to work twice as hard to get back. I'm not defending Dorgu because he had a stinker. But I'm just saying that Bruno and Cunha seem to be doing their own thing. And I saw that. But what they did up top doesn't excuse the absolute shit show at the back. So it's a combination of a shit show and like a schoolboy show up front where they just go and do their own thing. Football Club says Euro and Heaven should start over Maguire and Shaw. Well, someone said to me they would feel more comfortable with Mazraoui at left back, Dalot at right back, Aidan Heaven at left centre back. That way Harry Maguire can play because you've got pace all around you. In wherever it is, it's going to get covered. But you're not going to have as much going forward, was my counter argument. Dalot is shit, can't cross, can't pass, but has the work rate and is very rarely injured. Mazraoui can do everything, but I don't think he has the engine to do it. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yes, there are a lot of rumours out there right now, and I suppose we'll quickly touch on it, that Blade might be coming from Barcelona. There's a lot of tweets going around tonight about it. But it's because we're in the final week of the transfers. Simple as that, guys. You're going to see many a player linked, everything like that. Wait for medical booked. Think how many people were getting a hard on about Baleba Friday night, Saturday morning. Michael Carrick wouldn't even talk about it, saying that the medical was booked. And so still got to wait. We've got to wait for maybe Monday, Tuesday to announce it. I've seen rubbish about the fact that we held off signing Baleba because Amazon didn't start filming till this week. A load of bullshit. I told you when they started filming. They waited 1 week after pre-season. They went in the first week of pre-season, installed all the cameras. They're automated. And then they were filming from that onwards with walkarounds, things like that. I believe there was even a tweet put out by either Amazon or All or Nothing or something like that that announced it. So you have to go back and find it. I can't be bothered, but I know for a fact there was. Carrick says, just put Blade. How about starting Sesko next game? Why? I want Sesko on the pitch, right? He proved me so wrong last year. I didn't think he was going to cut it. And then you look at the goals he got what important goals he got. And it showed what I have said about any player. Play him. Play him. It's the only way he's going to get confident. And he did. But I didn't like the fact he scored and then he was back on the bench. Scored and then he's back on the bench. Then he starts a game, doesn't score, back on the bench. So I don't feel Carrick has out and out belief he can score. But he also hasn't played any football since the end of last season. Okay, when he collided with the Hoardings and hurt his shin. We don't know what it was. And then all of a sudden doesn't play any pre-season and comes on in this game and look naturally unfit. Would I start him? Maybe. Maybe I'll start Sesko against Ipswich and say, I need to know what you got in the tank. Can you get through half time? Get in at half time? How are you? How are you feeling? He'll be wearing a stat tracker. They'll be able to see his minutes, see his heart rate, everything like that, and be like, right, I need to monitor your heart rate. I need to know, are you red zoning? And we'll have you off before you hit that. And then you go, right, and Boomer up top, finish the game off. I like finishers. I like that term, or the subs now. When you got 5 subs, you have finishers. Sesko is an option, but Sesko needs service, and I can already see that Dorgu doesn't start against Ipswich, right? Only because we've got Cunha and Rashford. I would like to see Rashford on the left and Boomer on the right, Sesko up front, if Sesko's fit enough. That's perfect for me. But I'm not sure I want to see Bruno. He's such a Bruno hater. No. What I want to see from Bruno, actually, is this week he plays a behind closed doors friendly, gets another 90 minutes under his belt, and then rest him. Because I want Bruno firing come the Man City game. And yes, you can argue with me, you can play him into form, you can play him into fitness. But do the fitness the right way, where it doesn't matter, rather than, dare I say it, him running around like a headless chicken trying to get fit, rather than doing his job, where actually he didn't even need to run 9 times out of 10. Club says, agreed, that sounds perfect. Well, that's it. It sounds perfect, but Carrick's got so much to prove. He's got to prove he's not a puppet. First and foremost, is Carrick an Ineos, Glazer, Glinios, whatever you want to refer to them, dickheads, puppet? I don't think he is. Listening to how Wayne Rooney and other players who played with him, I do apologise. I'm absolutely shattered. I had to play when I shouldn't have today. I think Carrick is strong, does what he wants, but I'm starting to get worried. I will say that. Ramos says, we don't have players that can serve our lone striker. It's not true, Ramos. It's not true. We do. Okay, we don't have one right now. Ahmad definitely can beat the byline and put the balls across the box. He does it for a fucking Ivory Coast, for God's sake. Rashford can definitely beat players and pull the ball back. He did it for England. He even got his goal when he didn't do it. So it means he can do both. Sesko is not an out-and-out header of the ball, so we've got to realise we don't need to cross for him. He's not that good in the air. Just because you're tall, everyone seems to think he's going to be amazing in the air. Yeah, he's got a high jump. Great. He jumps above the crossbar, which means he's got to get even higher above the ball to head it down. These are all things people overlook just because of some YouTube compilations that go out of goals. Look how many goals they put out and how many games he's played. He's played like, say, 200 games, and we're finding a compilation of 12, 13 goals, for fuck's sake. I want a striker who has no bells, no whistles. He's in the 18-yard box. He digs the centre-back with his elbow, pulls off and rolls one in the corner. That's all I want. I want someone who's going to be in the 18-yard box, fox in the box, sniffing it out. Just bang, 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 especially if you're a lone striker. Stay behind the centre-backs. Pull them back. Make the pitch as big as possible. I won't ever stop talking about that. Because your striker is your get out of jail free card. When everyone's pressing you and it goes wrong, you can go long to your striker, right? Or to the channels, and he can run after it. But if he's not up there and the centre-back's there, why are you giving them a head start? It just blows my mind for anyone who's told to play up front. Which basically it's a cheat code. You only need to run when the ball comes near you, right? Coming back playing false 9 to get on the ball, turn and shoot. Sesko does it. And Bumo does it. And he's not great at coming back against the ball. He comes back very square on. He doesn't receive it on the half turn. Cunha, great at coming back and receiving the ball. but then runs down into too many players, loses it, or shoots from outside the box. Whereas come back, receive the ball, play a pass, and then get yourself in the box. Harry Kane, Cristiano Ronaldo, players like that do it all the time. Even Mbappe does it. He'll come back, link up the play, and go. All three of the PSG front three rotate. Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, whether it's Barcola, Mbaye, Desiree Doué, they all rotate around. They link up the play, and someone else runs in behind. But when you don't have runners in behind and your striker is dropping, that tells me the striker shouldn't be dropping. Does that make sense to everyone? If Cunha coming back towards the ball isn't a trigger for a Rashford, a Dorgu, an Mbumo, an Ahmad, a Lacey, whoever it may be, to run in behind, then I don't understand, because he's coming back probably to lay it off to a Bruno or someone, and you play someone in. That's cultured football. It can be that simple. Let's catch up with this chat. Kelly says, what should happen for you to be Carrick out? Not changing it. Not changing it. If he can't see who's not pulling their weight when things like that, that's the only time I'm a manager out. When a manager refuses to change it and he allows people to be lazy. So I don't put a name on it. I support Manchester United. I back the manager. I don't support the manager. I don't support individual players. Plenty of people do these days. I support Manchester United. I want Manchester United to win, and I want every player on the pitch to work hard, run forward, drive towards the Stretford end, score the goals at the Stretford end, play to the last minute. That's what I've grown up watching. Attack, attack, attack. And when you lose the ball, work twice as hard to get back the other way, get behind the ball, win it. Oh, camera just went funny there for some random reason. That's me bashing the table, guys. That's what it means to me. So, Callie, I don't think I can be Carrick out. It's got nothing to do with it being Carrick. I am more pull your weight or get out my club with the players. That's what I am. I saw it under Amorim. I saw certain players not doing their job for Amorim's system. Amorim worked well at Sporting, and he's just beaten us with an AC Milan team, and I'm going to be watching AC Milan just to see what happens, because it will prove whether hard-working players work in his system. I already think we don't have hard-working players. I also think we don't have smart players who can play multiple positions or multiple formations. King says, the question is, what the fuck does United only have one lone striker? If you believe the rumours, United are going to get 2 out of 3 positions in this week. Left back, centre back and a striker. 2 of those will come in. I don't believe it. I think we'll struggle to get one in. Lewis Hall today showed, I'm looking at him playing, I'm going, fucking go and buy him. Just go and give him 70 million. We've got the money. Show of hands. Who thinks we've got the money? Everyone's hands goes up, because we've seen the books. We've seen financial experts talking about why Man United have the money, how they still have more money to come. I don't know what they're trying to do. Are they trying to spread the costs too much till January, and then come again next summer when they can actually have a proper pre-season and a better transfer window? Because then again after that, you got the Euros and you'll be in the same problem. I don't know. Ramos says, Mark, when Sesko got fed crosses last season, he scored them. The fact he didn't score 10 headers at Leipzig doesn't mean he can't head the ball. It's not that. His actual jump is too high, Ramos. So what I'm saying is, if you, I don't know how tall you are. I'm 6 foot. When I jump, if I've got a running jump on me, I'm going to jump and I'm going to be just above the goal, right? Which pretty much means as I head the ball, neck power, I can head it towards the top of the goal or back across the goal, and it will have a bit of dip on it. Sesko is what, 6'5"? 6'6", 6'7", something like that. He's ridiculously tall, and he looks even taller now because he's filled out a bit. If he takes a running jump, and I've seen him jump, we've seen him take off. He looks like he drinks way too many Red Bulls and he's got the wings. He is almost chest height above the bar. So you think about how high that ball's got to come in level with the crossbar, almost so he can jump and be on the way down to head it down towards the ground and in, which is a really hard technique to have. He can't just head it forward unless he heads from the edge of the 18-yard box. So it's not that I'm saying he can't head. I'm saying he's too tall to head constantly. You know when we have deep set pieces and we send Harry Maguire, Mr. Magnet Head, to the back post and he heads it back across goal. I'd rather see that as Sesko and then Maguire coming in from the other side to head it in because of the slight difference in height. And for me, if I'm doing the set pieces, that's what I would aim for. Right, Sesko, you pull off to the back post. This is the run you make. Curve your run. Keep your eyes on the ball at all time. You're the furthest one out. Curve it in. Come back from that. Head it back across goal. Harry Maguire and say, Aiden Heaven, you're the two attacking it. One at the back post, one coming in the middle of the goal, wherever, in case he spoons it, and you get a good contact. That's me. That's how I would see it. So I'm not criticising him because he properly showed me up last year. Hands up, admit it. The goals he scored, that one where it comes in as a cross and he finishes at the near post, volleys it in the top corner with just the instep. Oh my God, that was unreal. But actually, if you look at it, a lot of the balls he scored for us were balls hard and low in towards him, and he controls it, turns and finishes, pulls off the centre back. But we need to see how he's fit. He might have been improving. Danny's in the house. Evening, my man. Exactly. And Carrick deserves patience after the way he turned last season around. But see, that's it. King, I'm going to keep this one on the thing. And this isn't a dig at you. You've just said how he turned last season around. He finished 2 places higher than where he took over from Amarin. The players played better because they're in a better formation. Now Carrick is under scrutiny. Last season, it was, oh God, he can't be any worse than Amarin. That's pretty much how most people felt, right? Can't be any worse than Amarin. Go out there, do your job. Let's see what you got. He made players happy. Now he's going to make players unhappy. So you've just signed Talisman and Santos, who are thinking, right, you probably upset Mainu a little bit at that point. But now you sign Baleba, which we need him. I don't care. Like I said, it's all about the team. You've now probably set up Mainu even more. Does Mainu get in? Does Mainu start? Is Mainu fit enough? We know he's not very quick at covering ground. Baleba is. Santos is. Talisman actually showed he ain't that slow at getting across sort of 5-10 yards. So yeah, maybe people are going to get upset, get unhappy, and Carrick's got to deal with that. These are all things that are yet to be proven because tomorrow's another day, right? This is another season. Mr. Putis in the house, 5,000. Rama says, that's true. Great point. I just learned something. Well, that's what I try to do here. I do try to just sort of leave us thinking. And also, I feel if you start to see it from a different point of view, you might see Carrick's tactics and think, actually, he's got a fucking point. What is Carrick doing at this? That makes no sense. Like, why you put your tallest players at the back post, right? It's always been the way when I grew up. If it's a corner, tallest players as far back so they can have momentum to make their jumper and attack the ball from as far out as possible to get up, get over it, and head it down. Mr. Puter's in the house. Carrick says he'll take Casemiro's place, though, Baleba. He will, but we brought Santos in, and Santos thinks he's taking that. So now, for us as fans, we're going, yes, we've got competition for places. We've got 2 CDMs now. We've got 2 8s. We've got 3 10s if you want to say Lacey, Xerxes and Bruno. Maybe Mason Mount you chuck in there as well. We've got players here, players there. We've got no fucking fit centre-backs. We won't play Harry Amas, so therefore we got no left-backs, apart from Mazraoui's cover, who's a right footer. So it will be interesting from our point of view, but it doesn't mean those players won't be happy. And because you want to play, right? You only get 11 players on the pitch. I've spoken about how a keeper is always screwed. He either plays or he wants to play. There's no getting a chance because someone else has got injured until it's the goalkeeper. Where was I? I've skipped. Mr. 1000. Tillsman looked overweight and completely out of shape for me. You start Mainu every single match. And there we go. This is what we're talking about. I thought Tillsman played well. Does he look overweight? I tell you, someone who looks like they carry too much weight, Mbumo, he doesn't. It's just his body shape. So Casemiro was always ripped, and people told us he was fat, right? Luke Shaw, no, I should forget that one. But Mainu, he needs to prove his fitness because he's coming on and doing nothing. But he's what, one and a bit game? Well, he's probably played 60 minutes off since he come back from injury from England. So we don't know if he's coming back from injury. Just another way of looking at it. King says, anyone else wants it to show us fight for your place? Exactly. You need to fight for your place. You need to know when you go out there that someone's waiting there to take your place. Okay, we used to say to take your shirt, right, when you just played 1 to 11. But when I watch Hull, they fought for every ball. They didn't sit and wait. The best one was the interception off of Mbumo, who's standing there waiting for the ball to come to him. Big professional footballer, no, right? You don't stand still for the ball to come to you. You come towards the ball. But no, I think it was Crooks or Cook or something like that. Sprinted past him. Big fucking guy. He absolutely flattened like Santos and that, doing a header. But they wanted the ball. They wanted to fight for every ball. And they were willing to run for 120, 240 minutes. They did not care. They can rest today and then back to training Monday, most likely. King says Kobe should be playing in Bruno's position. I totally agree. I think Kobe is a great number 10. And it's funny you say that, King. Sorry for the drink, guys. I've literally drunk about 4 litres today. I'll tell you why once we finish the review. Kobe Mainu was a 10, and people kept moving him back further down the pitch once he hit the first team. In the under-21s/18s, he started as a striker, I think, in 13s, 14s, 15s. Then played more in the 10 as the numbers grow. And you can see when the way he receives the ball, beats a player, finds the pass, or moves on, and his finishing ain't bad. And Amarin said Kobe Mainu, Bruno Fernandes are the same sort of player. They're playing for the same spot in the team, right? And at that point, it was an 8 in his formation. But that's a compliment, backhanded, but it's a compliment that they are very similar kind of players. Mr. Pot, it's shocking to me that Mainu hasn't been given proper game time. Well, he's been injured. So you got to remember, most of us didn't believe it. But obviously, I covered all the World Cup games, the press conference, everything like that. He picked up a knock in the England training, couldn't play the third and fourth playoff. Didn't see him limping when he received his medal. And most of us played it down going, he pretty much told the manager to go fucking do one for not playing him throughout the World Cup. Which, when O'Reilly was getting brought on as to play in midfield and not Kobe Mainu, I can understand. And then we didn't see him through pre-season because he has to go on. He has to have his 2.5 week break from the England thing. So you have to wait until he then can do his weigh-ins and his blood tests, everything like that, he comes back into the team. Now he's severely unfit. He hasn't played through the summer with England. He's just been doing some training as the B team. Comes back into United after maybe having a knock, and it's starting to feel like he did. So that's why he hasn't had the minutes. But this is why I'm saying we need behind closed doors friendly. Whether it's someone's 21s, 23s, our own under 16s. Do you remember last year Chelsea played a friendly to get players fitter after the rest from the Club World Cup, and they played their under 16s, and their under 16s were like 2-0 up after about 10-15 minutes, and Maresca apparently absolutely cancelled the friendly. We need to do the same sort of things. Play our 18s, play our 21s behind closed doors, and just get minutes in players' legs. That's what I'm saying. Bruno needs those minutes. Let's go through it. Mainu. No, actually, let's start at the back. Darlow hasn't played. We signed him injured. So we need to get a keeper up to fitness. Amas was playing most of it. I would play Martinez. He needs minutes. Then you go Kobe Mainu. Baleba. Baleba's injured. So even when we sign him, he's not coming straight in the team. You still expect another 3 to 4 weeks for him to come back. Mason Mount needs minutes to get back fit. Play Shea Lacey. We started him, but you could put him out wide. Rashford needs minutes. Cunha needs minutes. Sesko needs minutes. Xerxes probably didn't get enough minutes. I'm just trying to think who else is on there. The Fletcher boys didn't play much. They only played bit parts, and we'll have to rely on them if we get like little knocks. So, yeah. In-house friendly, behind closed doors friendly, whatever you want to do, those players need to be playing more games quicker. And it shows because we were shit against Milan, and it was believed that maybe it's because it was 2 games in a week, Saturday, Wednesday. Wayne Rooney made a really good point, dare I say it, on his new podcast with that twat. That they could have had a training session, could have been doing double training sessions, trying to drive the fitness up. So what happens when you do that? Because you're trying to get as much into the players, the AC Milan game, or even yesterday's game, we might see repercussions because of that. And that was leggy players. The passing was abysmal, wasn't it? I think we all saw how many bad, incompleted 5-10 yard passes not going to the correct foot. Not even going to the player, let alone to the calling for it on your right, and it's not there. Oh, Grace is in the house. Evening, Grace. So it is what it is. Caddy says 4 litres a day is a rookie number, mate. Well, no, it's not 4 litres. What happened was I done our Prem side this morning for the disability ranking matches, and then we have 2 teams in the championship, and players didn't turn up. So we ended up with, bear in mind we play 7 aside of different abilities. So we gave the white team an extra player, gave them 8, but someone didn't turn up who we thought was there. Someone said they'd seen them and they hadn't. Left us with 6. So dickhead here has to pull on a shirt. Find out 2 minutes before kickoff. It must have been about 28, 29 degrees. And yeah, I've now got a lump in my calf. I can feel it right between the 2 things because I didn't stretch properly. And I've just been gasping for it because I had no drinks set up for myself or anything throughout the game. Some of the players went and got me some, so I think that's amazing. And it just shows the respect they have both ways with me and my players. But yeah, I'm feeling it now. I'm feeling proper dehydrated from it. King says, we are playing for fearlessness and skill out of Mainu by not playing when he's fit. Well, I don't know about fearlessness because I feel like he does play with fear. His fear of being dropped. But I think that's a really good point. I think that Amarin he humbled a few players and it took a little bit away from them. And I'm all for certain players being humbled. but not all of the ones we wanted humbled were. But Mainu was definitely one of them, and Carrick sort of brought him back, and I believe it'll still be there. But if Tielemans is back up, or the finisher, Mainu plays 60, we swap at 60, and Tielemans comes on. But I'll be worried that Mainu should be running harder and faster every game, and it doesn't seem to be coming. I agree, Mr. Potts. Baleba is not the right player, and nor is his price. If I'm paying 70 million for a player, he better be a game changer like Lewis Hall could have been. Fair. I don't know. Don't forget though, right? So what's it? 65 plus 5. So the 5's add-ons probably Champions League appearances most likely, or bonuses. So it's a 5 for right now playing shit. We ain't got to pay. So we'll call it 65 million. Then you split that over 5 years. It's peanuts. It's peanuts. And that's the way you got to look at every transfer going forward, because that's how Manchester United are looking at it. If we can get it as low as we can spread the cost. Basically, Man United are doing their transfer deals with Klarma, all right? Because that's what it feels like. If we can pay in instalments, I'm happy days. We'll pay a little bit more, but as long as I can pay instalments, or when I get paid on payday, and the Glazers give me my pocket money, we'll pay a bit more off. Grace, no amount of signings is changing that overnight. Totally agree. I just hope Carrick don't get sacked and we go in a different direction with a new manager. So I saw something today, not about Carrick, but about a sacking or someone being assessed after the transfer window is shut. And that was Wilcox. Now, I'm taking it with a pinch of salt because I haven't seen it from the right names. So I don't know where it's coming from. But and it could be, how should I put it? It could be a shot in the dark with like moonlight shining through the window, right? Because if we've had a bad window and it ain't working for us, and Wilcox is signing off, yes, Ineos are going to look at him and go, mate, who are these players? Why have we not signed this guy, this guy, this guy? You're saying sign these, they're not good enough. Any director of football after every transfer window is assess whether they're doing the right thing for the job, dealing with the manager. Is the manager asking for X and you're giving him Y? Or in our case, we ask for X. We don't get Y. We don't get Z. We don't get any of the alphabet until the last possible minute. And it won't. And your first choice, second choice, and maybe your top 10 choices are already gone. But Grace, you're spot on. There is no signing that can change the lack of hard work, because one player working too hard can make a bigger gap for the other players who aren't working hard to just leave. And that does happen. King says United are PayPaling players. You know it makes sense. It does. It does make sense. Because if they... So there's another thing here where if Ineos are running a business, and Manchester United is a business, right? It ain't a football club no more. It's a business who's got a load of workers that play football on the weekend. The dividend is going to get paid eventually. And instead of putting us in more debt, that they just take that out and then we have to pay the debt repayments, and it puts us in more debt because we're probably missing them or paying them late or whatever we're doing. Maybe Ineos are going, we need to leave some money in the bank to pay this fucking dividend when they take it, instead of buying players. We're not going to like that. We're never going to like that. We're never going to accept it. I don't accept anything Ineos, Glazers do, right? Because I think they're all as bad as each other. You don't make that much money and think about anyone else. You think about yourself. Simple as that. Club concepts. I don't think replacing Carrick is an answer. Right, bang. Can we knock this on the head, right? Carrick's not getting replaced. One game, and yes, it was as bad a performance as it was. We controlled the game. When you look at the stats, they're going to be massively in his favour. You just go, we had an off day. We had 21 shots and we didn't score. Yeah, because only 5 of them were on target. But it is what it is. Carrick's going nowhere, nor should he, before Luke Shaw, Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire, Martinez, players that have let us down over the last few seasons. People are going to think, Bruno's not let us down. He does let us down. You have to watch it from a coaching angle and watch and just pick on Bruno Fernandes. Look at what he's doing or not doing. Look at the balls he plays. And people haven't even asked for it. They don't even know it's coming. So that is a letdown. Different kind. And he's a world-class player and we are lucky to have him. But he does let the team down. But Carrick is going nowhere. I totally agree. That's the issue United have. They have a knack of sacking managers at mid-season and the whole process starts again and then it goes downhill. Spiralling, right? Spiralling. Blame claim. It's like the Spider-Man meme where they're all doing that. Yeah? It's not me, it's him. It's not on the manager. Until we have certain players out the club who have been questionable whether they're doing their jobs as instructed, then you change the manager. Because right now, we've still got way too many players who have played under, well, we'll go back as far as Ollie, right? From Ollie onwards, we've still got those players. And definition of insanity is expecting a different outcome by doing the same thing. And right now, we're using the same players and expecting a different outcome. Ramos says, Klammer, yeah. Gray says, we need to stop buying youngsters. People already turning on Dorgu saying he's shit. It went that long ago. He was the next Gareth Bale. Exactly. Ballon Dorgu. Check the thumbnails on last year when he scored that goal. It wasn't on him. He's had a bad game. He's working, trying to do two people's job because someone else wasn't doing their job or in their position. I can tell you how I would set up my mid-low block against a back five. I would literally invite them on and not even press them until they reach the halfway line. Then they've got no space to fucking play the ball in behind. Their players can stay wide, but they're already at level with the 18-yard box, you know, so they have to control the ball, instantly put it in, and players can't make runs early because they'll be straight offside. That's what you do. Back fives are easy to play against. Five in midfield, a 4-5-1, not so easy because they can outnumber you. And that's where it comes like smarter. PayPal credits, yeah. Right, come on. You guys have all been superb tonight in the chat. Guys, remember, if you are new here, make sure you're hitting the like button. You only got to swipe the video down. It should minimise on the bottom of your mobile phone. Most of you are probably watching on that or on a tablet. Give me a quick thumbs up. As long as this video's got over 10 right now, I would prefer 20 to 50. But, you know, it is what it is. But if you're new, hit that subscribe. I've seen some great new names. Football Club, I think you're new tonight. Hope you've hit the subscribe button. We are on the road to 350 by the end of this month. 500 by November. Push for the 1,000 by the end of January. That probably ain't going to happen because YouTube are going to screw me. But we can only hope. And if I keep getting the raids from other channels, then it would definitely got a chance of getting the 1,000 when that keeps happening. Chris Shen says, can we bring Amarim back? Yeah, exactly. That's what it's going to be. Can we bring Ten Hag back? Maybe Ten Hag wasn't actually playing that bad. Maybe we'll get Ollie back. Ollie's at the wheel. Come on, Ollie. Look, the next manager, if Carrick goes, it better be Rio Ferdinand because all the stuff that he's shouting, like he needs to pipe down. All right. I know he's got some great chat. He's a good guy. A lot of people say he's an arsehole when they meet him, but he hasn't been whenever I've bumped into him. Wasn't with my other half when she bumps into him. Just for reference, his son plays for Brighton's under 21s, which is not training grounds, not too far from us, less than 10 miles. King says, you never know. PayPal might sponsor you, Mark. And if I'm being honest, so long as pay off with 4 months, interest-free months, you're laughing. Well, that's it, mate. Anyone who doesn't use these services where you can pay interest-free and spread it, you're probably missing a trick. As long as you've got an established job and you're secure in your finances, I'll tell you something that was told to me um, by a finance guy that works with professionals. Buy everything on credit. Buy your car on credit. Rent your house. Buy everything on credit if you're going to use it daily. So don't buy your car because you can always upgrade it, because you never know when you're going to get sold. So rent your house. So you're keeping money in your bank and you're paying the bare minimum. Don't buy the house. You don't need to buy the house. You might not get your money back when you sell it. Okay, players are paid ridiculous money now. Those kind of things probably have changed, and it's more championship downwards. That advice would happen. Funny enough, the player who's talking about it plays in League One. So, but I think as us, as human beings in the world we live in now, if I could calm on my shopping each month, I'd do it. Yeah, I can't, but why not? It's just sensible. Why pay interest or anything like that? Keep your money in your account, make money on it. Let's all use the Glazers' book of money laundering tricks to our advantage. Grace says, Carrick loves Maguire, sure. Dalot, Bruno. Can't see them going anywhere anytime soon. As much as I love Dalot, we need to move on from the failures. Thing is, right, I don't want to say it was because it was pre-season. And I get that straight away. My next thing out my mouth is that's going to be your response. But Maguire was good. Everything was working. Maguire and Heaven looked solid. Now they look like they're doing weird shit. And I don't get it. And it's like, how can I put it? It's like we've changed the entire team's tactics because one player is now coming or is playing. It's like whatever we were doing pre-season, stop that. Whoa, change your plans. We've signed Baleba, so we're going to play different. Or Bruno Fernandes is back, we're going to play different. Or Cunha's back and he can run with the ball, so we're going to play different. Fuck me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, what is wrong with... Sometimes I've come across, and they could be the best coaches in the world. They can be UEFA this, UEFA that. They like to coach for coaching's sake when they don't need to do anything because it's already working. Right? Okay, guys play it to your left foot instead of your right foot. Who gives a shit? Did he control it and play the next pass? Yes. Okay, don't matter. It wasn't what you envisioned in your head, but it worked. But I really hope we're not moving on to that. Puta says, sorry, I don't have faith in Carrick, if I'm honest. He was totally off it with the starting lineup. That I agree with. Not having faith in him, but it was like he treated the whole game like it was a pre-season friendly. But we have been let off by other results. You know, when you look at the results for this weekend, with straight away we go Friday night, Arsenal win easy 3-0. Okay, Coventry straight to the bottom of the league. But we're 2-0 down. Then you look and go, oh, Palace lost 2-0. Oh, Sunderland lost 2-1 to Ipswich. Oh, United lost 2-0 to Hull. And Ipswich also promoted win. Forest lose 1-0 to Leeds. That was a tight game. I know our regular Leeds fan was in there, and that's what he said. And then Brentford go and smash up Spurs. Spurs, you know, who just got themselves a new credit card and spending like a teenager on crack cocaine. All over the place. Villa losing 4-0. Well, yeah, they were in the top four most of the last season. To Brighton inside the first half. Man City rescuing the game. No surprise. Late penalty given to them to get back in it. And Newcastle and Liverpool drawing. The Newcastle I put 6th, can I just point out, drawing with Liverpool. So when you look at all the results, I know we've got one game left to go. What, Chelsea versus whoever's left? Fulham, innit? Chelsea-Fulham? Chelsea-Fulham. I'm sure it's Chelsea-Fulham. I'm going to have to look now. It's annoying me. Our result looks a little bit more bearable. Yeah, it is. What a great derby to kick off the season with, Chelsea Fulham, Battle of the Bridge. I can. I don't like it, but I can accept it. I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. Don't like that we lost. I don't like. I really don't like how we lost. I think we rolled over and fucking had our belly scratched yet again, and just made stupid mistakes. Like I said, defending too deep for the free kick, the corner. Fucking Harry Maguire's trying to kiss and cuddle Mazraoui. Anyone who can make that make sense, please, in the comments after the video and explain to me why Harry Maguire was holding Mazraoui. So Carrick says, until we get another 1 or 2 strikers, I fear things won't change. Can't only rely on Sesko. Said before, I know, but it's true. It is true. It is true. Same with centre-backs. All the time we've got De Ligt, Maguire and Martinez. 2 of them are pretty much injured permanently. We need a centre-back for exactly the same reason, just because we can't rely on certain players. Grace says, I blame the club. No proper coaching, no vision, no direction, loaded with debt, giving stupid contracts out, not being able to sell. Incompetence at its best. I thought it said incomplete, but yeah. Incompetence at its best. It really is. Ineos come in, yet nothing has truly changed. What has truly changed at Man United with Ineos coming in when we're now judging them over 4 years? We're judging over 4 years. We're back in Champions League. We missed out 2 years ago with Ten Hag. Like, Ten Hag was in Champions League, Europa League, then nothing, then back in the Champions League. So we got a season off. First time in fucking like 200 years or whatever it is that we take a season off and don't have anything, right? And I know it's not 200 years and stuff, but you know what I mean. Poser says, let's go, 24-hour stream. No, I've got about another half hour. If I did 24-hour stream, you better get me I'll tell you what, forget Angry Ginger with a deal with Red Bull Gaming. Right? I just need a deal with Red Bull. I'll get Jamie Vardy on next to me. Me and him just knocking Red Bulls back. We go full Jaeger bombs if we have to, but I'll do a 24-hour stream. I would love to do a 24-hour stream. Can't do that. I can't do a 24-hour stream until we hit 1,000 subs. So that's down to you guys. Get sharing the video out on your socials and things like that. You need to raid back and raid others when usuals aren't on mark. Yeah, exactly. It'll come, King. I'm not pushing for it. It happens. It works. Cass has been sending people over to me when now I'm used to just seeing like 200 people suddenly appear in my chat out of nowhere. Jarvis will do it. I think out of all the channels which I sort of have regular sort of dealings with, the only one so far not to do it is United versus Everyone, and that's Sean, and I get that, and he doesn't have to, and he might push to other channels. Being American, he might support some other American channels or something like that. He might not do any pushing, but it doesn't matter. It's just people, if they want to help out, they can, and I accept it, and I will always help them back out myself. If they need me appear on their show or whatever. Retweets, all the normal stuff. Yeah, I was told the same, Mark. 100%. A perfect example. Look at the fucking Glazers. Yeah, there you go. Brought us with credit and accounts overflowing with cash on credit. Exactly. Maguire would rather cuddle Mazraoui than defend the cross, which is weird, right? Because we know that ball. This is what I was talking about, Maguire doing weird stuff. Like, I'm not talking about him holding it here. I'm going, Maguire's the free man in the box, right? Go and head it away. Maguire always the attacking player. The ball comes in, Maguire's free to go head it. That's what we want. It took 45 minutes to go to long ball to Rashford in behind. Yeah, exactly. I felt it was a perfect game. As soon as you know a team's playing wing backs, I said this, and this is where Mbeumo on the right made sense. Mbeumo on the right, Rashford on the left, running behind, stretch the game. So their wing backs tire, and they had to change. And their wing backs did tire, but more because they were attacking so much. Mr. Push AT, another new one in the house. Good evening, sir. Welcome. On this one, I think the players weren't up for it. Yeah. There was some arrogance there. Oh, this guy's speaking my language. Some arrogance there. Also, I think Carrick made some questionable decisions. E. Dorgu versus a low block. Well, I think Dorgu. I think Dorgu was meant to track a winger, but with no striker, he was having to push forward and get on the centre back, and that's where it went wrong. But the arrogance, 100%. Two players spring to mind. I'm not going to keep naming names because I'm not here to hate. I'm here for what I see. And I've already said it, so we're not going to go over it again. But maybe the chat will say who it is. Maguire wrestling with his teammate gives me Ollie PTSD. Yeah, it did, didn't it? It did. It went back to as he got the armband on and doing weird and wonderful things, like the sticking a leg out backwards to try and tackle someone. If you remember that, God, that was a nightmare. All right, let's try and start winding this up a bit. We weren't happy. That goes without saying, right? But we do have the Ipswich game to come up. I will be doing... When is it? I'll do a show Tuesday, preview Thursday. So I'll do the preview Tuesday. Just trying to think of my working week. I've got a lot on this week, coaching wise. We've got a show Tuesday night. Whether it's the preview, you'll have to check the thumbnail. It'll be out. I'll be doing the thumbnails and that tomorrow. So Tuesday night we'll be out there. We'll do that. So, but we do need to realise that what we now need is a bounce back. I feel like Tim Lovejoy now, bounce back ability. We really do need the bounce back against Ipswich. And my fear with the Ipswich game next Saturday, is it Saturday or is it Sunday? Sunday, isn't it? We go to our Sunday games now. Ready for that. It's 4:30. It's on TV. It's a big game, but it is at Old Trafford. We need to be there. If you guys in the chat, the ones that go, you need to be as loud as possible. I won't be there. I've got my own football to contemplate, sorting out some mess. We need to suck the ball in the net. We need to take our shots. We need to make sure we're taking the right shots. I'd rather see 10 shots with 9 on target than yesterday's game with 21 shots with only 5 on target. I'm sure we all feel the same. Less shots, higher quality. What's this? Do you think think there could be a possibility of you reviewing a clothing product of mine? Totally off subject, I know. Absolutely, mate. If you go on my page afterwards, you'll see the email address. It's God, what's your email? It's me. So I think it's marklanguage7@hotmail.com or something like that, because I haven't done the website for the page yet. Email me there, and we'll go through the details. But the emails are on the page. I don't mind doing it. So we'll just have a chat there once off. So if you don't ask, you don't get. 100%. Why did he put Mbeumo on the right? Should have kept him in the 9. Lacey on the right and Rashford and Cunha 45 minutes each on the left. Dorgus should play left back. I'm about halfway there with you, Grace. I understood Mbeumo on the right to go behind the wing backs, but I agree if he was going to go in behind the wing backs, Rashford should have been on the left. If he wasn't going behind the left backs and he was playing the same, taking the game to them in our own fashion, 100% Mbeumo should have started. I think everyone in chat agrees Mbeumo should have started as striker because we knew Sesko wasn't fit. Cunha does not work. Cunha is a number 8 who wants to get on the ball and drive at players and push, run with the ball. He can't get on the ball and run with it when he's the last man. So therefore he comes back deep and it fucks everything up. I had I didn't think to put it on there. There was a stat put up by TNT and it showed average position, and it basically had if you see the formation behind me, imagine Mbumo and Dorgu on inside the 18-yard box, and Dorgu and Bruno Fernandes level with where they are now. So your wide players were higher up and tucked in, and my striker and my number 10 were back playing in exactly the same spot, literally less than 5 yards apart. And that's what I kept seeing, that, because Cunha kept coming for the ball, going, give me the ball, give me the ball, fucking give me the ball, give me the ball. It's like, you're standing right on top of him. Why was he going to make a 2-yard pass when he can do whatever that is himself? So, yeah, not great. But I respect your analysis, Grace, and I do agree with you in some ways. Dorgu, maybe, in hindsight, we could have done that. But if you saw Dorgu from pre-season, you'd be starting him. You would be starting him. King says, Mark, why now do a review? Why not? Yeah, well, I wonder what you might have put in there that's been thingied out. I haven't got the product. Can't do a review on stream if I haven't got the product. So that's what that all comes down to. Xerxes on for Bruno after 60 minutes. No, I said Shea Lacey. I said because he brought Rashford on and kept Mbumo wide, I would have brought Shea Lacey on there and put Sesko up front. It would have worked for me. Personally, it really would have been. I'm screaming for Puerto Rico. I'll be yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can contact me for Twitter through United Lens as well. Yeah, perfect. Couldn't see the email. You might have to add it to the thing. I will. What I'll do if you can't find it, Football Club Concepts. Like I say, you got the Twitter. You can find it on the homepage. Go click the more on the description. Scroll to the bottom, and it will have X, TikTok, obviously this channel, and the email address. If it's not there, let me know on this video in the comments, and we'll sort it. That we can always sort it. Couldn't see an email. You might have to add it. No, it is there. I've read that already anyway. I'm with Grace for except Lacey. He's not ready yet, but Cunha is not a 9, and it cancels out every strength and skill from his game. Dorgu cannot be a regular left wing. Lacey, Danny says Lacey should start. I think he will. I would put Dorgu, whoever you want on the left. Pick from your 3. I really don't care right now. But with Ahmad out, I'm putting Mbumo up front. I'm putting Lacey on the right. And you will see that. I can already tell you. Mbumo will be playing up front and Lacey will be playing on the right in my next preview on my team sheet. Unless I get told that one of them's injured. Grace says, Dorgu don't offer enough offensively as a winger, but offers a lot off the ball. And Rashford's offer more forward and less off the ball. So there has to be a balance. And that's what Carrick paid the big bucks to do, right? Michael Carrick paid the big bucks to find that balance. But don't forget, sometimes to find the balance for one player, it might take something different, something we haven't looked at, okay? So we need to look at that. Just having a look. Can I? Yes, I can. There we go. Yeah. Oh, Jarvis is in late. Kingsboy Tactical Devils raid. Nice, Jarvis. Thank you very much for the raid. We've got about 20 minutes left, so we're just about to hit the recap up, but definitely smash that subscribe button and smash the likes on your way in, boys and girls, I should say. What we got here? Shea Lacey will get more game time now. Now Ahmad's injured. Literally just said that, Mikey, for the raid. Thank you. And I've already given a clue that he's going to be in my starting lineup. Boxing's in the house. Danny's back. Run them likes up, people. Grace is a Tactical Devil raid. Simba's in the house. Hey, Mark. Hope you're good after the shit show yesterday. Hey, we learn and we move on. Dave saying evening. So smash the likes, absolutely. Smash the likes, smash the subscribes, keep pushing it forward. 81 of you in the house right now. I'll tell you what, you've all come in. Why not just all smash a like? Can we? How close can we get to the 81? Yeah. And if you haven't hit subscribe, please help the channel. But we are just sort of literally just saying about Lacey coming in for Ahmad, right? Because I can't understand how Mbeumo did not start. I know you've just been talking with Jarvis. I'll be doing it tomorrow night. How he started Cunha through the middle is mind blowing. And Mbeumo through the middle against Ipswich, Lacey on the right, and then for me, because he brought him on as a sub, and Cunha was shit, start Marcus Rashford on the left. I would rather he didn't destroy confidence in Dorgu and kept Dorgu playing, because I thought Dorgu was one of our best players in pre-season. And I don't believe he's a pre-season Pereira, because he also had a great end to the season. So we'll have to see what happens. King says it's on 18 likes. Come on, let's reverse those numbers. Let's make that 1881. For me, you go Rashford. The one that's it's the biggest concern. I need to see Bruno Fernandes playing deeper. And you might think, whoa, what's he mean deeper? He's getting too high, too fast, right behind the strikers. It's going to continue to make the same problem we had with Kobe and Casemiro between Talisman Santos, or Talisman Bruno Santos. Not Bruno, sorry, Baleba, Santos, whatever we do, whether we play a single pivot, double pivot, it's going to mess it up, because he needs to be the tip of the triangle and not the middle of a three. And that's how it feels. He's almost like the second striker, too high, too fast. And what I believed it was is trying to run around headless chicken, get the minutes in the legs. That's what we were talking about earlier on. We can play Rashford and Dorgu, because Dorgu is actually a left back, not a left winger. I've seen nothing to show him playing at left back. Okay? I don't think he's even that good at tackling. That's my fear. So, he will sprint out and he will cover people. If I'm putting a different left back in, I'm playing Harry, Amas, or I'm playing Mazraoui over there and starting Dallo. If I'm dropping Luke Shaw, those are my two options, Amas or Mazraoui. I don't want to see Dorgu back there. I think he's offensive player and he can unlock certain things, but we need to show him confidence. Jesus Christ, he had one bad game. Yeah, it was a shitstorm, but so was our defence. Look at the player ratings behind me. It was not on one player. Yes, he missed from close range, but 21 shots and they weren't Dorgu's. Should you start Xerxes on Sunday? He massively missed the focal point against Hull. Sesko isn't fit, because that's a different option. Xerxes up front, I don't like him, but it is a good solid option, because he will stay up there and he will link the strikers. He'll take that one extra touch and get the ball under. He's got a great first touch, get the ball under, play it wide. But then he doesn't get in the box. He just drifts. He's like Berbatov without getting in the box. Dorgu could play right wing with Mbeumo up top. Yeah, absolutely. But then I'd rather play Lacey. Aren't you setting up Shea Lacey for failure if you start him? I think he can deal with it, Ramo. There is something special about Shea Lacey. I remember seeing it. People who can just come on, shift the ball and bend one, trying to put it in the top corner, showing no fear, is what Manchester United is all about. And I have always said Shea Lacey, that's what he shows to me. Yes, you're setting him up to fail, but you're also setting him up to succeed. And it's in his hands what we do. The reason Shea Lacey is more likely to fail than succeed is the players around him. So if Masraoui behind him, I feel that the overlaps and the cover will be better than if it's Dallo. Sorry, Grace. But if Bruno Fernandes gets on his back for making the wrong pass or trying something and not giving him the ball, which we see him do regularly to other players, then that's not going to help him develop. Unless I see Lacey turn around and tell Bruno to do one, and then next thing you know, I might be sprinting to Old Trafford to bloody fucking clap it. Do you know what I mean? It's massive for us. 5,856 likes. We have no one else, so I think so. Boxing says Mazrari is shite, Mark. Which one of our fullbacks isn't? If that's the case, isn't Xerxes going to Villa? Well, Wendy, we've heard rumours. We've heard rumours. We don't know if it's true, but we'll just have to wait and see. Have Villa actually made a Xerxes bid? Not registered officially, for it's been put out by anyone official. Remember, I will only talk about your Ornsteins because Romano is a lying twat, and most of the other stuff, you know. What did I say about ITKs on this channel, guys? Inventing transfer rumours. Inveno. Or inventing transfer knowledge, I should say, but it should be rumours, but ITR isn't a thing. Carrick says let Lacey prove. And I think that's a fan thing, right? If you're old enough, you're good enough. There's plenty of United fans out there saying, play Jack Gabriel, play JJ, play JJ. If you want to play JJ, but you don't want to play Lacey, JJ's nowhere near ready for the first team. So where do you see Dorgu then, Mark? If you play Rashford over him and you don't like him at left back, where would you put him? I play Rashford because I think he needs to get fit, right? Dorgu's played most of the games, but I actually wouldn't drop Dorgu. I would keep Dorgu, but I think the manager will play Rashford. That's what I'm trying to say. There is the option. There is the option that you play Dorgu, Rashford through the middle, which the manager was talking about, and we as fans know that's not a good idea, but it does happen. And keeping Bumo wide. So there are, across that front line, there are so many multiple combinations we can now play, which is nice. I don't think they all work together. It looks good on paper, but I don't think they click. And I want to be proven wrong now, obviously, because we want United to succeed. Simba says, Lacey has got the potential to be a game changer for us. I remember when he came on in the FA Cup, this is what I was talking about. He was a threat, and I felt sorry for him when the ref sent him off. But that's it. He's got that passion, that drive, that determination. Do you know what Lacey has? He has everything a whole player had when they turned up on Saturday to play against us. That's facts. That is me speaking the absolute truth there. We need to turn up like Hull. Lacey turns up like Hull. The Fletcher boys, maybe not good enough, but they turn up and they give everything. We need our first team regulars to do the same. And it isn't happening often enough. We are Bottlers FC. I don't see an Arsenal badge. Hasn't Bruno taken Lacey under his wing? I bloody hope not. He might claim that he does with the youngsters and that, but I think Lacey needs to, if anything, stay with Mbumo. Mbumo's very grounded. He's a funny guy. Apparently, Lacey's actually a bit of a comedian as well. It's got to be that Scouse humour. And I just want him to stay wide with the wide players. Forget what Bruno says. I don't see Lacey out and out as a 10. I think he can play there because he can use both feet. But I much prefer him picking the ball up and shifting it one way or the other and getting the balls in the box. Boxing says, Dorgu was very poor, doesn't deserve to stay in the team on that performance. That's what I'm saying. I think from a footballing point of view and his age, dropping him on a poor performance shows a lack of faith that it wasn't a one-off, right? There's been many a players who's had a stinker and we don't drop. But the youngsters seem to get it in the neck. But I don't want him to be dropped, but I can see the manager doing it and starting Rashford. Facts on the ITK thing, it's all bullshit, yeah. Hey Mark, do you think Carrick needs to go back to basics for the next couple of games, or stick with his new tactical setup and give it a time to work? I don't even know what his tactical setup is, Jarvis, because if our new tactical setup is defenders that are going to run out of position and hold on to their own players, Bruno Fernandes is going back to being a headless chicken, running around doing a two-man press on a back three, and leaving our wide players not knowing whether they're going for centre back or wide. I don't know what he's doing. I liked his tactics throughout pre-season. We now need to get our players playing the same way the youngsters played, with that intensity. That's all we're lacking, is intensity. And it's the hardest thing to get. You can't just click your fingers and learn a pattern of play and bring the intensity. But I hate the word intensity. I keep saying it. But the tactical shape, what was it? Because yesterday it seemed like we played 4-2-4. That's the only way I can look at it. The way Cunha dropped back with Bruno, or it was a 4-2-2-2 with the wingers being high and wide further than the strikers. There's many a way to look at what happened yesterday in different formations, and I'm sure we will tomorrow night. Hit the like button. It costs F-all. There was a lot of wrong tactically against Hull. It was not just fitness. No, boxing, you were spot on. There was a lot wrong tactically, right? But who was wrong with the tactics? Was it Carrick's tactics was wrong? Or was the players doing this, we've got to figure it out ourselves? And the first thing is, if you're not sure, you don't run forward to press the ball, you drop off into a block. If you don't think you can get there, don't try, drop off and defend. You're better being stronger behind the ball than attacking the ball and being passed around and being taken out of the game. Yesterday, we did the latter. We got passed around because we were certain players were hyped up, went looking for shit that wasn't there. Ramos says he definitely agrees with Simba that why would wait until I start lazy. Let him grow into the first team. Look, if it don't work, you can have him off, and you got players on the bench eventually. Let's not pair him up with Ronaldo and Messi quite yet. Yeah, let's wait till he's knocked in 30 goals in his first season or something like that. Ramos says, let's see him develop. Right, we're all on the Lacey thing. I think we all understand. Guys, I'm literally just about trying to catch up with your chats, and we are wrapping the show up. I have got to get to bed by midnight. Otherwise, I am going to turn into a pumpkin this week. Boxing to Jarvis. Carrick needs to revert back to the system from last season. Yeah. Let he autocorrect. I knew what you meant. When he says, what happened to a few seasons ago when our front three were interchanging, giving the opponents real trouble? Discipline behind them. You can have a front three that can interchange, move around. PSG is the prime example I will always use right now. Their front three is everywhere. I've seen Dembele drop up, appear as a holding midfielder. They even interchange with the next three behind them. But you need to know what you're doing, where you should be, who's doing what, and more importantly, talk to each other. United aren't talking. They're not screaming, they're not shouting, they're blowing. They're too unfit to move around the pitch. And another thing, we are too small. That was one thing. I brought it up on the preview, and I think it showed yesterday. The lack of height in the Man United team is probably going to cost us too many goals and set pieces this year. Keeping Rashford has upset the apple cart again. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Carrick. I'm not sure it has yet, but it definitely can. Dorga should play on the wing against the bigger teams where he can use his running power, physicality and pace to counter, exploit space against a low block. He's inefficient. Well, I think what happened was we did not play to the highest level in maybe our last two friendlies. We didn't go at it. We were playing 60% for nearly the whole of pre-season. It's come to match day. They're at 100% and we're still trying to wind up. It's like trying to pull away from the junction in fifth gear. It ain't going to be very quick, and you're probably going to get sideswiped. And we definitely got sideswiped yesterday, didn't we? So it is what it is. Oh God, dare I see that one? I weren't expecting to see that one in there from Danny. Eric Ten Hag ball again. We played. Mikey, if we don't start Lacey, where is the pace in the team? Exactly, that's what he brings as well. Would you take Pedro Neto if possible? The fact he's another right winger and it would stop Lacey from progressing. No, I wouldn't. If I believed Ahmad or Mbumo would go over and play well on the left, I'd take Neto and still try and sell Rashford, and it might work. Weak shadow pressing, yeah, 100%. We were more like chasing shadows than shadow pressing. So, right, let's just quickly catch up with the last few here. Ramos says, true. My only concern is that we don't know how to develop players, so we might burn him. Boxing says, for me, Mark, it all starts from a compact shape. Don't press. Oh, Boxing, I said this. I said this before you guys raided. We should have been dropping back to the halfway line and literally being in a 4-5-1 and said, we'll press you when you come in our half and we'll see where it goes from there. But we didn't. So, what we meant to do. We were pressing when we shouldn't have been pressing, when we just got played round. What we should have done and what we did do, that's where I think Carrick and the players are probably having one hell of a meeting probably tomorrow morning. If not today, because it was that shit a result. It could have been today. Danny said that's all. Majority of these players can play in transition football like last season. I'm all for transition football. If you're going to sit back and defend and we transition in behind, all for it if it wins us games. I'm for Man United being successful, and that's all that matters. We will get goals, and other goals will come if you're transitioning. Sometimes it don't work. You have to hold it up, and you can still run on the end and finish it. Box says, yes, Danny, unfortunately, we need to stick. And that's the facts, Danny, and that's the players we have. So we should set up a counter, play to the players' strength. And Simba, last one here. Why after 14 years can't we still break down a low block because other teams do it with ease? How we make it? All right, you're not going to like it. I'm going to keep saying it. If you're going to play Bruno Fernandes, you're not going to break down low blocks. He plays too many long balls, too fast, too blind to corners. People don't know when to go, when to stay. You don't know if he's taking a touch, playing it short, There's no like give and go or up through and back and then reversing the ball. There's no mixed up in his assists. All he does is throw the ball in the box. If I put 200 crosses into the box for Manchester United, I'm getting 20 assists. I'm telling you now. That's how the facts work. As long as there's players in the box and I'm putting the ball in there, eventually one of them's going to go in. And that's how Bruno Fernandes plays. He is world class. He can do a lot more, and we need to see him doing it. Pedro Neto plays left and right, but gets some kip. Yeah. No, I know he does, but if you've got Rashford, Dorgu, Cunha left, you would say right, like it would be where he's more likely to come in because you drop Lacey. You're probably not going to drop Dorgu. I know people say drop Dorgu to left back, and then you're still down. It still would stifle someone playing. King Carrots just realised Jarvis was there. To break down the low blocks, it's fast, short passing to feet. We couldn't find anyone's feet yesterday, and that's probably the note to end it on. Thank you to everyone in the chat, right? First and foremost, thank you for the raid. Thank you for everyone coming over. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do on the way out. Get in the comments afterwards. Let me know what you're expecting for the Ipswich game. Let me know your real bugbears, and we'll bring them in maybe Tuesday night. I haven't decided whether I'm doing the preview Tuesday or we just do another show, because there was a lot here to break down. It's in 2 hours and there's still shit we could talk about. And that's worrying, right? And that all of us as fans, we should be worried that we watched one game and it's given us more questions than answers. But we will be back Tuesday night at 10. I'll be on Tactical Devils at 9 tomorrow night. Well, I say 9 when Jarvis hits go after 9 or after. I'm sure he's back training now with the boys, so I've got to wait for him to get in. We'll go over everything there and everything that we find out from the fallout from the weekend. It's been amazing. We are on the road to 350 by the end of this month. I can't thank you guys enough. So I will see you 10 o'clock Tuesday night back here, United Lens, as we go over yet another thing. But if you want to see more of me, I'll see you at 9 on Jarvis's channel tomorrow night. All right. Catch you guys later. Thanks and good night.